I fancy myself a storyteller, so whether you like my stories or not, I am going to continue to tell them. This story is about abortion and the fact that abortion is healthcare. I'm here to tell my story about that because the more we tell our stories about it, the more we normalize the difficulties, and the people who might have a stance against things that we do or have done in our lives need to be seen the human side of things. Some of the things that we vote on when it comes to abortion are just abstract. It's just an abstract idea, but the laws and the rules that we're putting in place have real life effects. Infant mortality is up. Death of women is up related to maternity. My story is that when I got pregnant the first time, I was trying to have a baby. I had been taking fertility medicine and, I was married and we were actively trying. And so I got pregnant and I went for my first appointment and something was off. I'm not even sure what it was, but the doctor said, you need to go have an ultrasound. So she sent us to another floor to have an ultrasound. The technician was having kind of a difficult time and she just said, you need to go back and see your doctor. Obviously, this is starting to feel unsettling. And so when I went back to see the doctor, all of this is happening, same day. She said, you have a blighted ovum. And a blighted ovum essentially means that your body begins to get pregnant and a sac and all of the things that support a pregnancy, like that begins and is created, but there's no baby there, and there's not going to be a baby there. It's kind of like your body's way of saying we desperately are trying to have a baby, I guess. That's kind of the way I looked at it. But so my options at that point, this is devastating news, but my options at that point were you can go home and go about your life until you just miscarry. So I could be at the grocery store or somewhere else and just start, bleeding out, basically. Or I could have a D&C, which is the technical term for an abortion. So I opted for the D&C, which means that I got to go into the office, have a procedure, be put under, I'm sedated, I'm kept comfortable, I'm given medicine to help with all of the physical symptoms that go along with that, and then sent home to heal from all of the emotional damage that something like that causes. The whole goal was to support me and make me comfortable through a time that was really traumatic. And that's what miscarriages are for people. And sometimes people get far into a pregnancy. Anybody having a late-term abortion is going to be due to a medical reason for the mom, and they need to save the mom. And that is maybe the only choice, or maybe the baby's only going to live for 15 minutes. And it's nobody's place to step in and say what should or shouldn't be done. What amazes me through all of this is the concept of having a family and, hopefully ideally being, married and wanting to bring a child into the world should be about love and nurturing and all of those positive things. But the women don't feel supported in any of this. Like, I don't know that I would be making the same decision to have children now in this day and age, because so many things can go wrong and you don't have control over your body. You don't have personal autonomy, which I believe to be a human right. It is nobody's business. You're not coming in to raise this child. You're not going to have a say in it. You don't get to tell me what to do or how to do it. Why do we have all of these middle-aged and old men making decisions about what we can do with our bodies? Everybody gets hung up on abortion from an emotional perspective, and Republicans and conservatives do that on purpose. And it's like, oh, the women, they're just killing babies. And no, it's not like that. And if you could get out of your emotion zone and actually listen to the stories that people are telling, you would see the human side of it and recognize that it is not your place to ever interfere between a woman and that decision and her doctor. Things are not better since we've cracked down on abortion. And guess what? We haven't gotten any better access to birth control. In fact, that's kind of gone away because Republicans have gone after Planned Parenthood because Planned Parenthood offers abortions, even though that's a tiny part of what they do. And the rest of it is medical services for people who are low income or in need of it. It just reminds me that none of this is about the baby. None of it is about the mother. All of it is actually detrimental to both. When someone else is controlling it, it is detrimental to everybody. We cannot go back in time 50 years to having hanger abortions and having people bleed out. I'm not stepping back in time to do that. So just trying to humanize what is a difficult topic. But you know what? If we want fewer abortions, we can have them. We just have to set the system up the right way and make sure that we have sex education and access to birth control and access to Planned Parenthood and medical services. We could get there if we want to, but conservatives actually like to have that as a controlling talking point because it gets their base riled up over something that is really not true in the way that they portray it. Not accurate. So that's my story, and I encourage others to tell theirs as well, no matter what it is. The main thing is nobody wants to feel alone at a time like this, and as a woman, you can start to feel very alone when going through something traumatic like that. So anyway, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. That's all for now. Peace out.